Yo, what's up? Today we are arguably doing one of the most important videos in this channel, and that is ranking common self-improvement advice that you hear from people like Hamza, Andrew Tate, and a lot of normies. Some of those advice might have been given by your relatives, your friends, and I will be ranking how helpful this advice is if you have autism, if you are like a young man with autism. Because what you have to understand is that pretty much all of the self-improvement content creators on the internet, like Hamza and Andrew Tate, like they are not preaching to autistic people. They are preaching to neurotypical people, like normies. Because, like I say often on here, this world was not designed for autistic people. And so a lot of the advice that you hear is targeted squarely towards neurotypical men. And if you, as an autistic man, try to implement some of those advice, like at best it might be a huge waste of time, and at worst it might actually be harmful and actually ruin your life rather than help it. And I myself, I am a young man diagnosed with autism, and I have pretty much tried implementing doing all the advice you see here. And this is also like the most common advice that you will see on like the internet and that you will see normies spew out. And some of this advice has worked for me, and other advice has actually like ruined my life genuinely. And so I want you to learn from my mistakes and basically not ruin your life the same way I did. And so I want to like give you an idea of what advice is good to follow when you have autism and what advice might ruin your life. So for the tiers I have made here, we can start with this. This should work. This is here in this tier I will put advice that has worked for me and that I think should work for you regardless if you have autism or not. Like even if you are like severely autistic, you should benefit from the advice that is here. In this tier, it is advice that will likely work. It will not necessarily work, but I will still give it a try. Like, you might actually benefit, so I would still recommend implementing the advice that is here if you have autism. Here is advice that might not work if you have autism. This advice here usually works if you are a normie, if you are neurotypical. If you have autism, it might work if you are lucky, but if you're not lucky, then it might actually not work and you might actually not have any benefits whatsoever from the advice that is here. The advice here, yes, it works probably if you are a neurotypical once again, but if you are an autistic that tries to implement the advice here, it's just gonna be a waste of time. And here is advice that once again works for normies, but if you as an autistic try implementing the advice here, not only is it gonna be a waste of time, but it is actually harmful. Like the advice here and even here, please do not do if you have autism. And so this, like, it will genuinely ruin your life, and this will basically be a waste of time, but might not ruin your life for the worse. And this will actually like ruin your life. So the advice here is the worst if you have autism. Once again, if you're a normie, all this advice might work, but remember, all the self-improvement advice that you hear on the internet, it's geared towards neurotypical men. So as an autistic man, you really should not try doing some of those, or they might be harmful, they might be up here. So without further ado, let's start. So we're gonna start with just be yourself. This is basically the blue pill advice that a lot of people give you. Like, just be yourself. There's someone out there that will appreciate you for who you are. You should not change who you are for someone else. Just be yourself. And this is going straight here. Like, this will technically, like theoretically, only works if you want to be a hermit. But if you want to be able to attract girls, if you want people to want to become friends with you, if you want like an employer to hire you for your like dream job, like you have to behave in a certain way. And sometimes that will go against like being yourself. Like if you are being yourself and let's say you constantly insult other people, you constantly talk about yourself, you talk about how great you are like extremely self-absorbed, and you wear like the most goofy, out of style clothes ever, and like you don't go to the gym because you think the gym is for pussies and all of that. Like you're not gonna go far in life. Like people are not gonna like you, and you might say, but I'm being myself. Yeah, that's why being yourself is like harmful. Like people will distance themselves from you. Like if you behave in an immature and inappropriate way, even if you are being yourself, even if you are being true to yourself, like you will have a very hard time making connections with other people, getting a job, getting a house, and you might be unemployed and homeless and you might starve because we have to get jobs in order to like make money and afford food. And the reason why this advice usually works for neurotypical people is because neurotypical people usually know when they should not be themselves. They will usually know if people don't like them, and then they will change who they are. When you have autism, on the other hand, you might think that people like you for who you are, when in reality, people just pretend to like you. They are just like trying to be polite, but they actually don't like you. And when you have autism, you have a hard time like reading other people and understanding like their social cues and what they think of you. So it's going straight here. Then we have be the best version of yourself. This is basically how you fix the just be yourself advice. And in theory, this works. Like because you should be the best version of yourself. However, I will put it here. And because the problem with this advice is that a lot of people will like, especially autistic people, might misunderstand this advice. Like people might think, you might think you are already the best version of yourself when in reality you're not, and you still have to work on yourself. And in theory, you will never be like perfect. There is always gonna be room for improvement. So like, in theory, this advice is unattainable. So I would say rather than being the best version of yourself, you have to strive towards being good enough. And the problem is that most people don't know whether they are good enough. Some people will think they are already good enough when in reality they still have to work on themselves. And other people will think that they still have to work on themselves when in reality they are already good enough and they don't have to do more. And I think my rule of thumb of how to know if you are good enough is if you are aware of your strengths and weaknesses, and you basically put yourself in situations where you can leverage your strengths in order to become successful, and you avoid situations where your weaknesses become a problem. So one of the things I preach on this channel and in my course, which you can find in the description, is that it is important that you are aware of your weaknesses, especially as an autistic. Because like, once again, if you are able to use your strengths and avoid putting yourself in situations where your weaknesses become an issue, then in my opinion you are already being like the best version of yourself, and you can already like benefit a lot in society. Then we have put yourself out there. Like, this advice basically is targeted towards men who want to find a girlfriend. Like, put yourself out there. Keep asking girls. Keep exposing yourself to a bunch of girls, and eventually a girl will like you for who you are. Eventually a girl will want to date you and have sex with you, and also to like make connections with people. This I'm gonna put in waste of time. It's similar to this one. Like, if you have a horrible personality, if you act in a like repulsive way, then you can put yourself out there to like millions of people, and you will still, like, 99% of chance you will not find someone that will like you for who you are, and you will just waste your time. The reason why this advice works for neurotypicals is because the way neurotypicals benefit from putting themselves out there is not only like a numbers game that eventually they might run into someone who will appreciate them for who they are. No, they actually also benefit in a way that by putting themselves in situations that can allow them to observe other people, they can learn to behave like other people, and they can learn to behave being like socially acceptable and having the right body language, having the right mannerisms, which you will not learn if you are autistic. If you are autistic, you have to be taught explicitly. You have to be taught explicitly, like, here is what you have to do with your eyes, here is what you have to do with your mouth, here is what you have to do with your hands to be socially appropriate. And if you don't learn those things explicitly, you will forever be socially awkward, no matter how much you put yourself out there. Whereas if you are neurotypical, once you put yourself out there, you will learn social skills from other people who have good social skills in a sort of osmosis, which is what doesn't work when you have autism. Next one is focus on yourself and girls will come as a bonus. I will put it in here. I think it's probably not, it's better than this. I think focusing on yourself is great. It has a lot of benefits. The problem is that many people try to focus on themselves, specifically hoping that girls will come as a bonus, which usually doesn't work. Like, it works when you are a neurotypical, because while you work on yourself and in addition you put yourself out there, you will appear more attractive to women, and girls will be attracted to you, and so they will come as a bonus. When you have autism, once again, you have to be taught explicitly like how to be attractive. You will not be attractive by simply like having a purpose in life or just putting yourself out there. But I think focusing on yourself is still good advice. It just might not get you the outcome you hope to get. Then we have just be confident, bro. It's going straight here. It is good to be confident, but similar to this is usually given as dating advice, like the red pill advice. Oh, women want confident men, so if you want to attract women, you have to be confident, bro. The problem with this is that what I have gathered from my observations is that girls are not actually attracted to confident men. They are attracted to men that appear confident. They are attracted to men that can display confidence. This is why narcissists are able to attract girls a lot of the time. They are like insecure, deeply insecure. They need validation all the time, or otherwise they would not be narcissists. But the reason why they attract girls is because they are able to display confidence. They are able to fake confidence. And when you have autism, you have to be taught explicitly how to express confidence with like your body. When you are a normie, you just have to become confident, bro, and your body will automatically start displaying confidence. When you are autistic, you will usually display emotions in a different way, which people can misunderstand. For example, if you avoid eye contact, people might think, oh, it's because you're insecure, when in reality, no, it's because you're autistic. You have like sensory overload issues and therefore you avoid eye contact, but actually you are already confident. And the reason why this is harmful is because if you are confident but you don't know how to express it appropriately, you're just gonna come off as a creep. You're gonna creep a lot of women out. You're gonna be like the guy that hits on girls and like doesn't realize that he is a neckbeard and who thinks like, oh, girls want him. This is the mistake I did personally. Like I said, I followed all the advice here. I've tried implementing everything. And like, you will come off as a creep, and worst case scenario, a girl might accuse you of sexual harassment and you might end up in bars, like behind bars. So this is harmful advice. Like, learn social skills. As an autistic person, you have to be taught explicitly how to come off in a confident and attractive way. You cannot just become confident and hope to be attractive to girls. Next one is go to the gym. And I think going to the gym is solid advice simply because it has so many benefits to it. Like, not only does it make your body have a better physique and it makes you stronger and stuff, it also has so many health benefits. It even like cures depression or something. Like, there are so many health benefits from going to the gym. However, I have to have like a caveat. A lot of autistic people have this thing called low muscle tone, which basically means that they might not be as strong as the average population. So like, even if they go to the gym, they might not see the same results as the average population that goes to the gym. Like, if you have low muscle tone, it is possible that you might never be able to hit that 2-plate bench, like even on steroids. And yeah, so it is important to have realistic expectations when you go to the gym. Like, don't do it specifically to, for example, attract girls like this one, or specifically to become a professional bodybuilder, because you might have those limitations and weaknesses as an autistic person that you might not be aware of. Also, I know that a lot of autistic people simply hate going to the gym because of like sensory overload issues. They hate putting their bodies through pain. I personally don't have that problem, but if you do, I would recommend maybe listening to like motivational music while working out. And if that doesn't help and it makes things worse, then don't do that. But I would still recommend like experimenting around and see what works. And so you might not get the same results as an autistic compared to like a neurotypical who goes to the gym, but I'm still putting it down here in this tier because there are just so many benefits of going to the gym. And so no matter how much of a spurg you are, there will be some benefit from going to the gym. Next is meditate. I personally have tried meditating, but I felt like I did not really feel like it was necessary for me because I'm really good at just self-reflecting and understanding the world and myself. and I feel like a lot of autistic people will be similar to me in that regard. Meditating is much better for normies because normies usually are not as good in that area. They usually get like way too distracted by external thoughts and stuff, and so meditating is literally like the key for them to start self-reflecting. And so it might be a waste of time, but I would still recommend experimenting with it because it might work. I've tried doing that and I don't really feel the need to do that, but I would still recommend this because it might work for you. Journal is very similar to meditating. I'm also putting it here. I've tried journaling and it was good, but once again, I'm really good at like understanding my own thoughts, understanding why I think and act the way I do. I don't really need to write down my thoughts on a piece of paper in order to understand that. And I think most autistic people might be similar to me in that regard, but if that does benefit you, then I would highly recommend trying it out and see if it works or not. It's just, I personally don't feel the need to do that, but if it does work for you, then by all means, go for it. So yeah, I'm putting it here, and then we have quit watching porn. This goes here because there's like nothing, absolutely nothing redeeming with porn. Like porn has so many bad results, like in consequences. Not only is it a major waste of time, but like you then like become desensitized to a lot of stuff, and you no longer need a relationship, and then you stop watching women as people. You stop viewing women as people, and you view them as sex objects, and you like become insecure about your dick size because the porn stars have bigger dicks than you, and the women in porn also have like perfect bodies, and then you are no longer interested in women that have like a decent physique. You only want like blonde bimbos that have like the perfect hourglass physique. So yeah, absolutely quit watching porn. I know that I personally don't really watch porn. For me, porn has never worked, and if you are autistic, you might be asexual or demisexual. I know a lot of autistic people are that, so they would never have a problem with watching porn in the first place. But if you have a problem with watching porn, then definitely quit watching porn. If you don't know how, then probably watch a lot of videos on YouTube that tell you like step by step how to quit doing that. But yeah, it goes straight here. Then step 1, be attractive. Step 2, don't be unattractive. It's basically like the black pill advice. You will always see like a comment under a dating video that says, oh, just be attractive and don't be unattractive. I'm gonna put it in like, I'm putting it here because like people misunderstand it, similar to those things. Like, yes, there is truth to it. Like, if you want to attract the opposite gender, yes, you have to be attractive. Like, it's in the name. You attract, then you are attractive. If you don't attract, you're not attractive. So you gotta be attractive. The problem is that, like, especially the black pill, they put so much emphasis on like your looks. And from my observations, I have seen that the biggest factor that determines like whether you are attractive or not is actually not your looks. And it's not your personality either. It's basically how good you're at displaying confidence. So it's basically your body language. And a lot of the black pillars that believe in this shit, like, they think that the reason why they cannot attract girls is because they are not 6 feet tall, when in reality it's because they have an awkward body language as a result of autism. So yeah, I'm putting it here. Then we have find people with the same interests. Basically, another dating advice. If you want to find a girlfriend, if you generally just want to find people to make connections with, then you get this advice. Oh, just find people with the same interests. That is how you can bond with them. And I'm actually gonna put it here, like, it might be the worst of those, because so many people just misunderstand it or they do it the wrong way, especially autistic people. Like, first of all, you have to have an interest that other people also have. If your interest is, for example, hentai, then all I'm saying is good luck finding like people who are also into hentai. Like, good luck finding a girlfriend if you are interested in hentai. Like, that's what I'm gonna say. Also, autistic people, as we all know, they are like obsessed. They are fixated on like the things they are interested in. We all know like that. We have all heard of like the autistic person that is so much into Star Wars that they can quote like every single line from Star Wars. And once again, it can be really hard to connect with people that way. You might think that, oh, I found another person I might be friends with, or I might date because they are also interested in Star Wars. But then you make your obsession about Star Wars like your whole personality. You keep talking about Star Wars every 2 minutes and the other person just finds you annoying. So, and then you're confused. You're like, but how can that person not like me? We have the same interests. Yeah, but you make your interest like your whole personality. And this is like what so many autistic people have problem with. They make their interests like their whole personality, and that is why they struggle with this. While neurotypical people usually don't have a problem with this. Also, you gotta have popular opinions. Like, if you are really into Star Wars, but then you, for example, say that your favorite Star Wars character is Jar Jar Binks, then once again, good luck finding people that you might connect with. Like, it's almost like a social norm that if you like Star Wars, you are supposed to hate Jar Jar Binks. And also, if you are interested in something you are not good at, like for example, you are really interested in let's say, playing tennis, but then you suck ass at tennis. You are like the kind of person that says, oh, I'm so good at tennis, I played against a 6-year-old and I won 3 out of 21 times. Like, you're just gonna embarrass yourself, bro. And so, my personal rule of thumb is, if you have interests, before trying to find people that have similar interests, try to use your interest in a way that can allow you to earn money and that can allow you to provide some kind of value in society. If you are into Star Wars, for example, then become a Star Wars content reviewer on the internet and make money that way and entertain people, or make Star Wars parodies and make money that way. That way, even if you, for example, have unpopular opinions that Jar Jar Binks is your favorite Star Wars character, or even if you are into hentai, if you are able to transform your interests into giving value to society, people will have respect for you. So that can actually improve, that can actually help you tremendously with finding people with the same interests and actually maximize your chances with actually connecting with them and vibing with them. Try to earn money and become a successful person using your interests. Next up is quit playing video games. I'm gonna put it like here. This is like what I think Hamza says. If you want to become disciplined, stop playing video games. And like, it really depends on what you want to achieve in your life. If you want to become like, it's similar to this. If you are into video games and you actually want to turn your interest in video games into like making money by, for example, become a video game streamer, become a live streamer like I Show Speed or Laserbeam or Ninja or PewDiePie or DanTDM, or become like a content creator, then this is bad advice. You should keep playing video games and try to be successful off of that. But if you want to pursue a completely different career and you just play video games as a distraction from like the cruel outside world, then it is basically a waste of time, and then yes, you should quit playing video games. Then we have quit watching TV. It's kind of similar here. If you want to become like a movie reviewer, then keep watching TV. If you're just watching TV to like escape reality, then it's a waste of time and you should quit watching TV. And by TV, I'm talking about like watching anime, watching movies, watching Netflix, that kind of stuff. And also the reason why I think it is, I would put it here, it's like, I think watching TV might be more beneficial than playing video games, because you learn so many life lessons from like movie characters and TV characters. Like, for example, if you have seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, like, you learn so many life lessons from that TV show. Like, Uncle Iroh, he gives so many good quotes. Like, if you have seen that show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I have personally learned a lot from shows like Squid Game and Alice in Borderland, so I'm putting it here. Then, tell yourself girls want you. This is basically red pill in a nutshell. This is what all the alpha males tell you. If you want to be attractive to girls, you gotta tell yourself that girls already want you. You gotta brainwash yourself into thinking that you are attractive. You gotta become delusional, because then there will be like this self-fulfilling prophecy. If you tell yourself that you are attractive, then you will become attractive, except it's only for normies, and it's actually the worst of them all if you are autistic. Like, similar to this, but even worse. Like, if you are a neckbeard, you have a horrible sense of style, you are an unlikable person, and you tell yourself that girls want you, and you hit on every single pretty girl that you meet, thinking that you are doing this girl a favor because this girl is being hit on by you and you are like this dream man for all the girls. You're gonna come off as a douchebag and a creep, and yeah, girls will do #MeToo on you. You will become like, what is it? You're gonna become P. Diddy or Epstein or whatever. You're gonna become one of those creeps, one of those Me Too creeps. So instead, I would say work on yourself. Have a community of men who are also on self-improvement, who can tell you when you are good enough or not. Do not just brainwash yourself that you are attractive without having any evidence to back up your claim, or else it will go really badly. The reason why this works for neurotypicals is because, once again, neurotypicals are able to show that they are attractive with like their body language. When you are autistic, you have to learn all that shit explicitly. You cannot just have certain mindsets and beliefs and then all of a sudden your body will act in a different way. That only works for normies. It doesn't work when you have autism. Next up, follow your dreams. I'm gonna put it here, because sometimes your dreams are driven by your ego, like feeling the need to prove to the world that you are like smart, because you in reality you are not smart. Like, think about it. If you were smart, you would not feel the need to prove to the world that you are smart. So sometimes your dreams are actually shit. I teach, like in my course, which you can once again find in the description, how you can find realistic dreams, but sometimes your dreams are just straight up unattainable. And then following your dreams, like, you're just gonna waste your time, because you will never, for example, prove to the world that you are smart when you in reality are not smart. Because you cannot prove something that isn't real. That's just how science works. You cannot prove something that is not true. That's how science works. So you're just gonna waste time. Never give up. It's tied to this. You're just wasting time. Sometimes you have to give up and find a more realistic goal to pursue in life. Work hard in your 20s. Again, it's like the manosphere content advice. Men peak in their 30s. In their 20s, they are supposed to work hard. I'm gonna put it here, it's like a waste of time. I think it's way more important to work smart rather than working hard. Because, once again, your dreams might be tied to your ego. And so when you work hard to, for example, prove to the world that you are smart, when in reality you're not smart, you're gonna waste your time, bro. Also, if you're one of those like locked in monk mode men that never ever experience the world, and you work hard and you make a shit ton of money and become rich, but you never learn how to actually like talk to women, you're gonna come off as a creep, bro. So yes, work smart, but at the same time have some fun and like learn social skills. And once again, if you're autistic, learn explicitly like how to come off in an attractive way, and yeah, have realistic goals. Don't be needy for a girlfriend. I'm gonna put it, I think I'm putting it here, because if you are needy for a girlfriend, like, the thing is, even let's ignore the fact that the things that people usually say, that, oh, girls can spot if you are needy and desperate. I personally don't really believe in that, because I don't think girls are mind readers. But I will agree that when you are needy, you will usually act in a way that turns women off. But here's the problem with being needy. Like, if you are needy for a girlfriend, you will not be able to enjoy life without a girlfriend. And when you stop being needy for a girlfriend, you learn to enjoy other things in life, and so you will be able to have like a fulfilling life without needing a girlfriend. So I'm putting it here. Then we have, you need to love yourself first. Another dating advice. If girls don't want to date you, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, if I was a girl, would I date me? It's going here as well. Like, keep in mind, this is advice that I have myself done. I used to love myself. I used to think that I was the attractive man. I used to think that when I was hitting on every single girl in uni, that I was doing them a favor. That, like, if you as a guy was hit by like a supermodel looking woman, it doesn't matter if she's also hitting on every other guys and on every other man. If you are like a low value simp, you will be thankful if like a supermodel hits on you. So the same way I thought that girls would be thankful if I was hitting on them because I thought I was this like supermodel man and I was loving myself, when in reality I had a poor sense of fashion, I had a horrible personality and all of that. So, and it's tied to like all this, like neurotypical people, as soon as they love themselves, as soon as they become confident, their neurotypical bodies will automatically start acting in a way that attracts women. When you have autism, you have to be explicitly taught how to do the same things with your body. Your body is, when your body is controlled by an autistic brain, it's not gonna do those things automatically just by you loving yourself or becoming confident. And last but not least, quit eating unhealthy food. I think it's going here. Like, if you're eating sugar and you're eating McDonald's, like, you're gonna get all this diabetes, all this shit. You're gonna become morbidly obese and die a young and painfully slow death, bro. But I will say that a lot of autistic people, they are like picky eaters. They are very selective with what they want to eat. So they might not want to do this, like implement this advice. What I personally found helpful for me is not just quitting the unhealthy food right away and going into like healthy food immediately. Instead, I recommend slowly transitioning. Like, if you are addicted to candy, like sweet food, start by eating dried fruit, like raisins. They are still super unhealthy, but at least you're getting like nutrients that you don't get in candy. And then transition into eating blueberries. Blueberries are healthy, or a healthy or alternative to like dried fruit, to like raisins. Blueberries are like natural fruit, but they still have a lot of sugar. So, and sugar has like bad effects on your body. So then eventually you will transition from blueberries into less sweet stuff like honeydew and cantaloupe, and eventually you will stop eating fruits and eat vegetables, like, or maybe you will not stop eating fruit, but you will start eating and enjoying vegetables like broccoli. I don't recommend switching from candy to broccoli right away. I recommend slowly transitioning. That is what has worked for me. And anyways, this is all the advice I have, and here is all of it on the tier list, and you can take another look for yourself. And yeah, I will see you next time.